Hey, what's up, Nerd Squad? We're back with another NFL video. Before I get started, make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I have those linked in the description below. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like on the video, and let's jump right into it. The NFL draft is only 4 days away. Super stoked for it. It's gonna be really exciting. Make sure to tune in the night of the draft. I'm actually going to be doing a day one recap, and based on how that does, I may do a day 2 and 3 recap as well. So make sure to tune in for that. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. My final NFL mock draft before the draft. So, pick one. I think we all know by now it's going to be Joe Burrow. Not going to be changing anytime soon. Redskins. I'd be very surprised if they don't take Chase Young. I personally think they should take Isaiah Simmons because I honestly think he's probably the number 2 overall guy in the draft, maybe even number 1. Very talented guy, could really help that defense, but I personally think they'll go ahead and go with Chase Young. Very good pass rusher, should be able to help their defense quite a bit. Next is the Detroit Lions. Obviously, they traded away Darius Slay. They did get back Desmond Trufant, but I think they'll be looking for more of a lockdown corner, and I think they'll get that in Jeffrey Okudah. Number 4 is the New York Giants. Here, I'm kind of stuck between giving them an offensive tackle and giving them Isaiah Simmons. Personally, my thing with them is with how many sacks they allowed and how, I guess, iffy their run blocking was this last year, they really need to beef up that O-line. I think Mekhi Becton will be the best guy for them. Isaiah Simmons will help their defense quite a bit, but I think they definitely need an offensive tackle more, especially considering they already signed Blake Martinez, so he should be a good linebacker for him. So, next is the Dolphins. I personally still think they'll take Tua. I don't think that's super debatable. There's been rumors about them possibly taking Justin Herbert, but I really don't think that's going to happen. I think they have their eyes on Tua, and unless some crazy trade happens that someone jumps in front and steals Tua from him, I think the Dolphins will get him. The Chargers, I have something different here. There's been rumors, and actually heard directly from, I can't remember if it was the head coach or the GM for the Chargers. They said they're fully confident in Tyrod Taylor. Sounds like they're fully confident in him being their starter for 2020. And I don't know, something about it just made it seem believable. They obviously haven't picked up one of these other quarterbacks like Cam Newton or Jameis Winston or, anyone like that. I'm kind of believing it. I don't think they'll get a new quarterback this year. So, with them not taking Justin Herbert, I think they'll fix up their O-line and actually get Tristan Wirfs. The Carolina Panthers here, they have a few options. They need to fix their O-line a little bit. They need to fix their D-line quite a bit. They need a corner. I personally am a huge fan of CJ Henderson and really wouldn't be upset if they got him there. But I'd prefer that they trade back a few spots for him. But since this isn't a mock draft where we do trades, I think we have to take Isaiah Simmons here. I know their fan base absolutely loves this guy. Can play linebacker, safety, nickel corner, anywhere. He can even be an edge rusher if you want. He can play anywhere. So Very great pick for them. Um, the Cardinals, there's been some mocks having them take Derek Brown, but I think their O line needs quite a bit more help, and I think they really have to take an offensive tackle here. I think they'll go ahead and take Andrew Thomas. Next, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Them, I'm really struggling on who to pick here. Derek Brown is a good fit for them, um, but I think C.J. Henderson is also a guy you really cannot pass up on. I think, I think they've got to take C.J. Henderson. I I think he's still a pretty underrated corner, and with them not having AJ Boye or Jalen Ramsey anymore, they need a good corner there to replace them. Next is the Browns. I have them selecting Jedrick Wills to tighten up their offensive line a little bit. Um, should help Baker Mayfield cut back on the amount of turnovers. Um, and if they end up keeping Odell instead of trading him, um, I think that'll definitely help their chemistry as well. So, good pick for them. The Jets, while I think it would have been smart for them to go with an offensive tackle here, well, I guess they really can't anymore because they'd be reaching too much for the next best guy. But while I think an offensive tackle would be smarter, they have to get a good wide receiver here, and I think they get the best wide receiver on the board with CeeDee Lamb. Next is the Raiders. Now, John Gruden loves fast receivers. Really fast guys that can completely just burn you deep. Henry Ruggs is the perfect guy there. I think he's a better fit there than Jerry Jeudy. Next, the 49ers, they really need a number one wide receiver. Emmanuel Sanders really wasn't that guy. I thought he was a little bit overrated and still is. Obviously, he's an alright number two wide receiver, but definitely not a number one guy. Well, now they don't even have that. They definitely need a wide receiver. I think they get Jerry Jeudy and really helps their offense. Next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I'm not really sure what they're going to do on the Jameis Winston situation. Obviously, he's looking for more money, but they decided to go with Tom Brady. I think they're going to honestly want to get a quarterback for the future. I think Justin Herbert. I think he has the arm strength to kind of match Tom Brady, but he's faster and more mobile. I think he'd be a really good Tom Brady replacement. I know a lot of people are going to call me crazy for having them draft a quarterback this high up, but I think he's a perfect Tom Brady replacement there in Tampa Bay. Next, we have the Broncos. Obviously, the top three wide receivers are off the board right now. There's not really any good offensive tackles on the board without reaching too much. There's a few guys we could go here. We could go Derek Brown or Javon Kinlaw. Or we could reach a little bit for Justin Jefferson. I think we're going to go ahead and go Derek Brown. Fell quite a bit in this draft, and I think the Broncos will get a pretty dang good pick there, considering most mocks have him going in the top 10. So, good pick there. Considering the guys available for Atlanta, I think we'll go ahead and go Javon Kinlaw. I don't think they can really pass up on that. Could really help their pass rush. Good run stopper as well. I think their Their defensive line, excuse me, really needs a guy like that. Next, the Cowboys. They need a corner, but I think they also need a safety quite a bit. I'm not real confident with the safeties they have. I think they'll go again. I think they'll go and get Xavier McKinney. Now that hasn't really changed in mock drafts for me. I think that's a pretty sure lock right there, considering the guys available. But they could also trade back and, get a guy a little bit later along with some other picks. Or even potentially trade up. I could see them maybe being aggressive enough to trade up maybe with Jacksonville, maybe snatch CJ Henderson. I think that would be an incredible move for the Cowboys, but where this isn't involving trades, I think Xavier McKinney would be the for sure guy there. Next is the Dolphins. They obviously need to fix their O-line. I'm really high on Josh Jones. Some of you may think this is reaching a little bit for him. I do not. I honestly have him marked as a top 5 offensive tackle. I think for some of these offensive line needy teams, Josh Jones would be perfect for them in the first round. Next, the Oakland Raiders. They need a corner or a D tackle. Now, don't get me wrong here. I really like Jeff Gladney. I had him mocked earlier in, towards the very, very end of the first round into even the second round. I think the Raiders may be reaching a little bit here, but I think it's a good move for him to get Jeff Gladney. I have him as my number 3 ranked corner in this draft behind Okudah and Henderson. So really good pick for them. Next, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they'll go ahead and get Kayvon Chaisson. I debated between giving them Grant Delpit as well, but with them losing Calais Campbell and Yannick Ngakoue not wanting to play for him either, they've got to get an edge quick, get back to their notorious name, Saxonville. I think Kayvon Chaisson's a really good guy to have on that edge. The Eagles, I think we already know by now, they've said they're in love with Justin Jefferson. Really underrated wide receiver here. I think it's possible that the Broncos take him at number 15. Very, very underrated prospect. I have him ranked number 4 for wide receivers. I think he's going to really help that offense, a lot. Good pick for them. The Vikings, they really need a corner and a wide receiver. Considering the guys available right now, Christian Fulton would be a really good guy for them. Some of you may think that might be reaching a little bit. I do not. I think it's a perfect guy for him. Next, the Patriots. I actually think they will snag Jordan Love. I don't think they'll have him start this year. He's a guy that definitely needs some development. Let him develop for a year or two and then start him, and I think the Patriots could get back to being a really dominant team with him. I think he's going to be a really good pick for them. Next, we have the Saints. I think they're going to actually end up going with Patrick Queen. I debated also on Denzel Mims and Kenneth Murray. I didn't go Denzel Mims because they already got Emmanuel Sanders, so they already have that number 2 wide receiver. I think they need a linebacker a little bit more than wide receiver, and Patrick Queen is a guy you don't really want to pass up on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take them here. Take him here. Next is the Vikings. Well, Denzel Mims is still on the board. I have him as my number 5 wide receiver, actually. This board is actually pretty accurate compared to, guys I like here. It's a good board. So I think they'll take Denzel Mims. Here we have the Dolphins. I've heard from a lot of Dolphins fans that they really don't want to take a running back in the first round. I think it'd be pretty smart for them to, but at the same time, really, there's enough good running backs. You don't really want to reach too much on them, especially considering their other needs. I think Grant Delpit would be a really good pick for them. He's fallen quite a bit here. They don't have Minkah Fitzpatrick anymore, obviously. I think he's a good replacement. Next is the Seahawks. I think they fixed up their O-line really enough this offseason. They don't really need an offensive tackle that bad. We don't know for sure if they're going to still have Jadeveon Clowney. I think they'll end up getting Yetur Gross-Matos here. I could also see him getting AJ Epinesa. I don't think that'd be a bad pick at all. He's fallen quite a bit. He used to be a projected top 10 guy. He's fallen into the second round for a lot of people. But I could see the Seahawks taking him there as well. The Baltimore Ravens, kind of surprised he's still on the board here. I'm really high on Kenneth Murray. I honestly think he's a little bit better than Patrick Queen. I love his film. Doesn't really have a whole lot of really an injury history. I think he's going to be really good with the Ravens. They have a really good pass rush, really good secondary. I think the Ravens will get back to being a top 5, even top 3 maybe defense. So, very good guy there. Next is the Titans. Now, a lot of people are going to attack me for this one. I already see it coming. The Titans need offensive line help. Their pass blocking is pretty horrible. They allowed 56 sacks in 2019. And getting rid of Jack Conklin wasn't a smart idea for them. I think they'll go ahead and get Isaiah Wilson here. However, I could also see Austin Jackson. I personally like Austin Jackson a bit more than Isaiah Wilson. But Austin Jackson also plays for quite a bit smaller of a school. Maybe Isaiah Wilson will be a better pick for them. The Green Bay Packers, they need a wide receiver, tight end, and interior D-line here. Well, there's really not many guys available. Man, I don't know who to give him right here. Because, we could give him Neville Gallimore. I think that'd be reaching quite a bit. We could give him AJ Epinesa, but they really don't need an edge rusher all that bad because of the Smith brothers. Give him Jalen Johnson, but I'm actually not that high on him. I have him more as a third-round corner, so that'd be reaching quite a bit. I think I'm going to give him Cesar Ruiz. I know this doesn't say that interior O-line is a big need for them, but I think it's a pretty underrated need. I think considering the guys available, I think they have to go either there or Antoine Winfield Jr. I think Cesar Ruiz is definitely one of, if not the best, interior offensive lineman in the draft, and I think it'd be a good pick for the Packers, considering there's no wide receivers available. Next, San Francisco 49ers. They really need a corner, and, well, they can't get Cesar Ruiz anymore to help their interior line needs. I think they're going to get Ezra Cleveland. He's a guy that he's really good on the outside, but I think if they were to put him at guard, I think he'd do really well there as well. They have a good O-line, and their O-line coach is good enough that if they were to punch him in at guard, I think he'd play really well. Last, I have the Chiefs. Now, if by whatever chance Jeff Gladney were to fall this far, I'd absolutely 100% have him taking him. But since he's not, I think they'll go ahead and get, in my opinion, the best running back in the draft with DeAndre Swift. So that's my mock draft. What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, a lot of you guys have gotten really angry with a lot of my picks and have actually gotten, pretty rude about it. Guys, just keep it kind. Don't hate on it too much. I'm not going to pick, everybody's number one guy there, Just, if you don't like it, that's fine, but keep it kind, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Later.